Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JRPG Report. My name is Dalton. Joining me, as always, is my good buddy.
Hey, it's Michaela from Team Retro. I have not tested my mic beforehand, so good luck editing, Dalton.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the good luck. Sir, how have you been over these past couple weeks?
Oh, I've been dealing with a lot of personal life stuff that I'm not going to bore our nice listeners with, because my escape from all the crazy stuff is a little game where I get to go to an island. I get to go to an island. I get to have red hair. I get to brandish a sword. I get to be Adol Christian. And I'm playing a game called Ys Nordics of Dana. And my word, is that one of the best games I've ever played. And it's all your fault for getting me into it, and thank you.
Yeah, man, that was our most recent episode for the Steam Machine podcast, which you joined us on. If everybody listening to this would gladly go and listen to that episode, the Steam Machine podcast, Ys 8, those numbers would always help me. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a fantastic game. Not to spoil what we thought of it, but it's one of the well, you know what? Just go tune in. Listen, there is a special stat about that game.
Yeah,
I'll just say that. Definitely to go check out that episode. And Ys is just a tremendous. We have some Ys news this week too. It's a good little foreshadow.
I'm just a little nervous that Ys 8 is actually the pinnacle of that series, and any other Ys game I play is going to disappoint me now.
I think they're all great in their own right.
Yeah.
Because I've played 7 and 8 now, and I can admit to you that 8 is a better game, but it does not take away the time that I enjoyed with 7.
Okay.
So, you know, if you go backwards, you're going to get dated as far as game play and the way it looks and all that. And then going forwards, there's no telling what to expect. You know, I haven't played Monstrum Nox or, and then we'll touch on Nordics here in a bit, but so there's no telling, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, only one way to find out, I guess, but how are you doing, Dalton?
I'm hanging in there. It's been rough. You know, still looking for work and dealing with you know, banks and things like that for my grandfather and all of that, handling the after stuff.
The after stuff is the worst.
So that being said, patreon.com/JRPG Report, any donations right now would be very beneficial to me and my family, and it would mean a lot. Because things have been rough. Some things are more expensive than you expect them to be. So just, yeah, we are planning some stuff for the Patreon, which we will touch on again a little bit later on. But yeah, so other than that, man, I've just been playing some video games. I over on the Steam Machine podcast Discord, we have a little thing running this year called Backlog Golf, where if you buy a new game, you score a point, and if you or you gain a point, excuse me, and then if you beat a game, you lose a point, and you want to end with a golf score. The lowest score wins. So I was able to knock a few off. I beat Dragon Age Origins, which was a fantastic game. Shout out to James, the old host of this show, and a good buddy of mine. He has always touted that the Dragon Age series is fantastic, and I finally checked it out, and man, it was a fantastic game. And now I'm back. I'm playing some Dragon Age 2, which I had played back in the day on PS3 and beat, but I look forward to playing it again because it's been at least 10 years since I've touched that game.
Yeah, you're making me want to play that series again. It's been a while, and I never finished Inquisition. Inquisition, for some reason, it's not a long game by today's standards, but by the time of release standards, it was humongous. And I think after playing Origins and 2, Inquisition was just kind of I don't know that I want to do this anymore. I need a break, and then I never went back to it. So, I guess piece of advice, after you're done with 2, take a little bit before you start Inquisition.
Yeah, I'm almost feeling that like I should maybe do a game between Origins and 2 as well.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll hash that out.
Play some BioShock. Cleanse the palate.
I have played and beaten BioShock.
Oh, dear Lord.
For the Steam Machine. That's our next game for that show. So I beat that game.
That was fast.
Yeah, I spent a couple days and just knocked it out.
Gotcha.
I'll give more of my opinion on that down the road on the Steam Machine next week when we cover BioShock. And then I also beat, and I got all of the achievements for Donut County.
Okay.
Which
so that was a -2.
Yeah, and it was just, what a cool little chill game where you just play as a raccoon that controls a hole and you're just trying to get trash and stuff into it. And the game's funny. It's well written. It's not super long. It took me, I loaded into it after not touching it for a while. I had put like 2.5 hours into it, which is a lot of that was letting it idle while I did other things.
Right.
But, and I say that because I loaded up my save, played like 20-30 minutes and beat the game, and then immediately played through the entire thing again in like an hour and a half.
Wow.
But I got all of the achievements, and yeah, I was like, oh man, yeah, I enjoy this enough, right? And I was like in the mood for it, so I'm like, I'm gonna knock all these achievements out and get me at a -2. So I'm back in the negatives now. I think I'm down to like -2 or something like that.
I'm at a +5.
I was at +6 at one point, so I've been putting in some work.
The problem is, I do a lot of buying and not a lot of playing.
Me too.
So,
See, I'm broke. I'm broke right now, which is being very helpful.
yeah, so you can do a lot of playing and not a lot of buying. Although, I do plan on, before this Steam sale ends, I plan on surprising you, Nate, and Willie with a game that hopefully we can play for the show down the line. But I want to grab it for you guys now while it's on sale because it's like $10, so like $30 to get it to the three of you. I'll totally do that.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. What style of game is it? And then I will ask no more questions.
Or
is that going to give too much of it away?
No, but it's a genre that you particularly like. So it's not a JRPG, but it is a genre that I think you would get into.
Say no more. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. If it's a genre I like, I am for it. And if it's a gift, then I am going to accept it, my good sir.
If you're an athlete, you know the greatest motivator of all is the fear of letting your teammates down. After all, a team is only as good as its weakest link. So you owe it to those wearing the same jersey as you to be your best every time you step on the field. That's why there's no vape in team. When you vape, you can expose your lungs to toxic chemicals that can damage your lungs. If you're a step behind, the team's a step behind. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
So, anyway.
You getting some news, my good sir?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, then up first, we got some news from Idea Factory International. They have announced that Death End Request Code Z will launch in the West in 2025 for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. The roguelike RPG will launch in Japan on September 19th. Code Z is referred to as the third entry of the Death End Request series and a spin-off due to the changing gameplay style. Key series characters like Shina Ninomiya and Mai, I don't know how you exactly would say that, Toyama would also return, but this game will feature a new protagonist named Sayaka Hiwatari. The gameplay system will also depart from the usual command-based battles to roguelike dungeons. Another notable feature will be extremely gory death scenes shown where the player gets a game over. There will be over 100 death endings available. We previously reported over on RPGsite.net. This is where I get this from. They have previously reported that on the Code Z's gameplay systems and town features, and in the West, the game will be available both digitally and at retail, featuring both English and Japanese voiceovers. A limited edition will be available on Idea Factory's storefront, but details will be shared about that at a later date. So yeah, if you were stoked and excited about this new Death End Request game, it's interesting that they're going the roguelike genre for this, but hey, it's a spin-off, so maybe it'll take off into something cool.
The characters seem, awful high schoolish. I don't know how into seeing them die horribly over and over I would be.
I think that they're, I don't know, I've never played a Death End Request game, so I can't really comment on how old they are. They do look like high school, college level, but it is a horror RPG series, so
yeah,
you're gonna see some.
There's lots of blood. I already see just in the screenshots. The screenshots don't show like the characters dying, but they show them killing the whatever they have to kill, and yeah, it's bloody.
So yeah, definitely keep an eye out there for that if you are interested. Coming out next year.
So some good news for NIS America fans. Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak II heads west in early 2025 for PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I love how all these JRPGs are hitting for the Nintendo Switch. Like, I know it's at the end of its life cycle, but that system is turning out to be a heck of a JRPG machine.
Yeah, and once its life cycle is over and done with and Nintendo's moved on and people have hacked it even more so than now, it'll be an even better JRPG machine.
Right? Oh, I got so mad. I bought a Nintendo Switch Lite. I sent it out to a local guy to have him chip it. He chips it, sends it back to me. I go to do something on the stock end of it, but this guy put something on the main menu that was homebrew, and Nintendo caught wind of it and banned it.
That quick?
That quick. It's got to be a script that just automatically checks for that stuff, and if it sees something on the home screen that's not supposed to be there, it's just ban. And I was too tired to pick up on it, so I let it happen, and so I'm mostly the idiot in this case, but I
mean, you can still use it for what you chipped it for, right?
I mean, I can, but I ended up just selling it and get my money back. Because I have a modded Switch from, like, when it was first released from 2016, and that has never been banned in the last how many years that I've had it. So see, I'm just like, I'm gonna just stick with this.
I have one, and maybe we could talk more about this off air. I have one that I would like to do that with. I never did because it was like every now and then the boys would hit me up to play like Mario Kart or something like that.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened in long enough that I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. If it's a release model, it's not that hard to do.
So continue, good sir.
Anyway, NIS America officially unveiled that they are bringing The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2 to the West on all those systems I mentioned before. But PC, it's going to be available through Steam, Epic, and GOG in early 2025. Shout out to Good Old Games. It's a direct sequel to Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, starting new protagonist Van Arkwright once more. An unfortunate leak on PlayStation previously broke the news on Trails Through Daybreak 2's incoming Western release. The title initially released in Japan on September 22. After the events that transpired in Trails Through Daybreak, a new threat looms over Calvard. A string of murders have been occurring that involve some sort of crimson beast. Various factions begin to move among this uncertain time, along with familiar faces that players have met in Trails Through Daybreak and other past Trails entries. Set forth with Van once more and uncover the truth behind these new developments. So, NIS America announced that it is coming early 2025, and this is kind of par for the course for Trails games. They tend to continue where the last one left off, for the most part. Anyway.
Yeah. It's funny that this came up when I was looking, because I sent a message to the Steam Machine boys today, and I was like, Willie, I'm going to need you to do me a favor. I need you to start playing Trails in the Sky 2 in the background and get it beat, because I'm itching to play the third, and me and Nate don't want to do it until you have beaten 2 and can join us on 3. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I still have to beat 1. That may be a JRPG Report Patreon thing, because I need to beat that. I need to beat 1.
I almost just cursed. That's a great idea. Yeah. I almost said the F word. You almost made me say the F word. Yeah, that is a great idea. I think that could be a game that I can commentate on, and I can also be there to like help you if you need anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We gotta hash
and I'll find one for me to play too.
Yeah, we gotta hash out how we're gonna record and all that. Like, I mean, that's all behind the scenes, but
yeah, I mean, I've got OBS.
Fun.
We'll figure it out.
I would love to play through the first one. It's what, like 40 hours?
Trails 1?
Yeah.
I can tell you that. Give me 1 second, sir.
Google how long to beat.
How long to beat is such a good site.
I know. If I don't go ham on it.
It is main story 40 and a half hours.
That's what I thought. And probably another 40 hours for part 2, which is technically the same game.
Second chapter, 50 and a half hours.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at 100 hours between the two games.
Yeah, roughly. And I mean, if you're looking at doing completionist, which I don't think you would, but if you were, that's more like 150 hours or so.
No, yeah. I'm too old to do completion stuff anymore. I used to be able to.
It's funny because the third is the shortest of the 3. It's 32 and a half hours.
Huh.
But
then that transitions into Cold Steel, right?
No. So those transition into the ones that just came out over here, which are Trails to Zero and Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure.
Okay.
Which were the Crossbell series that never made it over here until just recently. But that was the between point between Sky and Cold Steel.
Gotcha.
So Trails from Zero, 38.5 hours. Trails to Azure, 44.5. Now you start getting into Cold Steel. Cold Steel 1 is 60 hours. Cold Steel 2 is 46.5. Cold Steel 3 is 60.5. And then Cold Steel 4 is 62.5. Trails into Reverie, 42.5. Or I'm sorry, no, just 42. And then Trails Through Daybreak, 55. So yeah, none of them are short.
You'd have to play nothing but Trails games for the rest of your life to get through all that.
I mean, not the rest of my life, but I could definitely spend the next year or two and just play Trails games. There was a joke that Willie made that he was like, man, we could take the Steam Machine and just turn it into a Legend of Heroes / Yakuza podcast, and I'd be okay with it. And he's mentioned that a few times to the point that I think he's only half joking. I think he's told me that he's only half joking. Because he's like, there's enough Yakuza games and Legend of Heroes games that we could ride that for a while.
Throwing some Ys in there too, and you got quite the run.
And the new Dragon Quest, whenever those come out. What's funny though is I don't see any of us clamoring to play any of the Final Fantasy games, other than I would like to at some point do 9 and 10 for the show. But I'm not super chiefed about going back and playing the old Final Fantasy games. I'm really not super excited. Not excited. It's not the word I'm looking for. I'm not super gung ho to jump into 13 or 15. Even though I want to play 15 at some point. I like 15 for what it is. I didn't get burned by it like a lot of people did. I came into it
burned
a different way. But I'm just saying, give me any excuse to play through 15 on PC where I can use that mod that makes your 4 characters look like the Power Rangers. And there's mods that put in the weapons, so it makes your weapons look like Power Ranger weapons.
Oh no,
bro, it's awesome. I know. I can see the look in your eyes. You're like, oh, can I free up 100 gigs?
I can free up the gigs. It's too. I want to free up the time. Does it make? Oh god, if they somehow manage to get Rita in there,
I don't know that. So it's been a while. When I first started delving with them, it was when they first started putting the mods up on the Steam Workshop.
Yeah.
So there's no telling what's on there now.
Not a JRPG, but I'm really excited for a game called Rita's Rewind.
Oh, that Power Ranger beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does look really good. That hit me right in the nostalgia.
I got burned hard by the last beat 'em up they tried that actually got delisted from the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store. Mega Battle. It had a lot of potential to be a really good beat 'em up game, and it just was bad.
The last Power Rangers, and again, sorry listeners, this is a tangent, but the last Power Rangers game that I played, I think it was called Battle for the Grid. It was a fighting game.
The fighting one. That actually is a storyline based on the comics.
It's not terrible. It's not the best fighting game I've ever played, but I've played a lot worse.
Remind me when the show is over. I have a bunch of those comics saved as PDFs I can send your way. You just put them on your phone and you're whatever, in the bathroom, doing whatever, you can read through that series. It's very interesting. It's actually very dark too. In some of the characters for Battle for the Grid, the evil Pink Ranger and stuff like that. That clarifies that whole thing.
Okay, yeah, dude, do that for sure.
Yeah, no, I'll send it your way. I don't have all of them, but I think I have up to the resolution of the Shattered Grid series, which is really all you need to know for that fighting game.
Okay. But yeah, go ahead and finish up reading about this.
So I already closed out of the Trails one.
I'll finish it then.
But I'll go ahead if you feel there's anything important in it, because I really want to talk about Nordics.
No, yeah. I just wanted to give the quick overview for Trails Through Daybreak II. No longer threatened by the mafia organization Armada, the people of Calvard have returned to their peaceful lives. But one day, a shocking series of murders involving a mysterious crimson beast sets the wheels of fate into motion once again. Various factions spring into action, but those who abide by the law to uncover the truth and those looking to capitalize on any new developments wherever possible, no matter how sinister. With chaos once again looming on the horizon, the Spriggan Van Arkride receives an unexpected visitor, prompting his own investigation. Who is behind the murders, and what is their goal? The Sands of Time bring old and new faces together for this thrilling second installment in the Trails Through Daybreak saga. Bum bum bum.
I love how you got all deep with that.
Oh yeah, that's my overview voice. In a
Holy
world.
Crap, does this collector's edition come with a sling bag?
It comes with a backpack. Yeah.
I love sling bags.
All right. So, speaking of, NIS America has announced that Ys Nordics will launch on October 25th in North America and Europe for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via GOG, Steam, and Epic. Super cool to see it coming out for GOG. I'm just saying. That's cool. NIS America has also announced a limited edition available on the NIS America online store for $104.99, which includes a soundtrack, a mini art book, a sling bag, and postcards. A deluxe edition is also available from various retailers for $59.99, including digital soundtrack and mini art book.
Want that sling bag.
Now, on the deluxe edition available for $59.99. That is not bad. I think that's what ended up happening with my Switch version for 8. Remember I told you I got the Switch thing?
Yeah.
And then it came with stuff. Maybe I got a special edition and didn't realize it because it was normal price.
Maybe.
That could have been what happened there.
Yeah, maybe.
So a release date, trailer, description, and screenshots can be found below in this, which I did retweet this over on the JRPG Report Twitter or X, whatever it is. I call it Twitter. For more information, you can check out the localization announcement, which is linked in this here article by RPG News site, or rpgsite.net. Excuse me. NIS America is excited to announce that Ys Nordics, the milestone entry of the legendary Ys series, is launching October 25th, 2024 on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam, Epic Store, and GOG. Ys Nordics offers exhilarating, fast-paced combat and a moving story of unlikely allies and naval exploration across a vibrant high-sea setting. The thrilling adventure is rated T for teen and will launch on consoles and PC. Additionally, the PC versions will include a Japanese language text option. Both PC and console versions will include Japanese and English audio.
Very cool. I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
That special edition, I mean, I have no need for a physical edition because I mean, although it is coming for PS4, so I could pick it up and be like, "Here you go, Dad. I got you this for PS4. No, I didn't come with anything cool. Just a game.
Just a game. As you put on your sling bag.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, check out this bag I got. Yeah. Oh yeah, no relation to the game. And I know they both say Nordics on it, but it's
different Nordics. These are actual real life Nordics, not the Nordics in the game. It's okay, Dad.
But you know what's funny is that my dad uses like an over the shoulder bag. I call it his man purse, but it's bigger than a purse. It's like a sling bag. It's a big sling bag. And it would be cool to get him this one and be like, here you go, here's a nerdy one to use.
I just bought a new sling bag, a little mini sling bag for work, because I'm going to try to start taking less stuff to work just to save my back. So,
yeah. Bro, you're talking to somebody who throughout my entire high school years, I didn't use a locker. I had all of my books in my backpack.
Nobody uses
I weighed my backpack
anymore.
One time.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 pounds. So every day I was carrying around this backpack with 60 pounds worth of books in my back. And I wonder why my back hurts all the time.
Oh, my back currently hurts because I have a 3-year-old who likes to jump on it.
I feel that, but it's a puppy who just likes to make me run around and lean over and bend down. But anyway, yeah, these screenshots from Ys 10 look fantastic.
And I literally just live on the podcast just pre-ordered the collector's edition.
Did you? Nice. Yeah. Nice. And believe me, if I had the money, I'd be right there with you, dude. This
it's a sling bag. It's
and if I remember right, Nordics takes place before 8. So Nordics, like, Adol is young in Nordics.
He's young. He's 17.
And I think it's in Ys 7 that Doji makes a joke about how Adol just has terrible luck with ships.
Yeah.
And now there's this whole game based around ships and ship combat, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
So this happened, and then 8 happened, and he does have terrible luck with ships.
Yeah, and he's got, I think, like, it's in Celceta. There's some issues with ships. Speaking of Celceta, or not Celceta, excuse me. It's not. They already did the Celceta one. So this next one coming up, I'll let you read this.
This one is Oath in Felghana. Early 2025, Xseed Games and Marvelous Europe announced that Ys memoir, The Oath of Felghana, will be released early 2025 for PS5, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Your Nintendo Switch could be a Ys machine.
Yes.
Ys memoir, The Oath of Felghana, is a remaster of 2005's Ys The Oath of Felghana, offering enhanced visuals, new character portraits with a toggle to the classic style if desired, a turbo speed mode, quality of life options, plus new voice acting for the unusually silent Adol. Both English and Japanese voices will be available. Xseed will also be selling a special refined edition in North America, priced at $59.99, available soon for pre-orders at participating retailers and on the Xseed Game Store for PS5 and Nintendo Switch. It will include a 14-track soundtrack CD, a diorama keychain set, 4 postcards, and a microfiber cloth. Marvelous Europe will sell physical copies. PS4 will be digital only. There are currently no details about a special retail edition for Europe.
Okay, I need to butt in real quick.
Go ahead.
I love anytime I get a special edition of anything, and it comes with a map, it comes with a poster, it comes with anything like that is on cloth.
Yeah.
Like
it looks like the cloth just has
it's just a picture of a character.
It's a picture of a character that I'm pretty sure is very close with Dogi, however you say his name.
But like the old Ultima games, Richard Garriott would release those with cloth maps.
Nice.
All the way up until I have a physical version of his MMO, Shroud of the Avatar, and that has a cloth map in it. And it's just, to me, because I have like a paper Skyrim map that came with one of my Skyrims back in the day, but it's ripped and it's like torn in different spots. That doesn't happen with cloth.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you take care of that cloth, it's going to last forever. So I really want more games to do that. That's just my little rant.
I actually have
I want more
cloth. Sword and Shield, Pokemon Sword and Shield cloth map. Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's double-sided, too. It's really nice. It has, like, the coat of arms for the 2 Pokemon on one side and has a map on the other side. I really like it. I have it up in my classroom somewhere. I
think the next thing I'm going to spend money on, you said matte, and it made me think of it, is a new mouse pad.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Look at this thing.
You can get one of the, extra wide ones that just cover the whole desk.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
Put it on there. Yeah, I'll get around to it eventually. But you saying that just made me look down, and when I looked down, I was like, man, my mouse pad's beat. But yeah, dude, Oath in Felghana, I cannot wait, dude. Like, I have Oath in Felghana on Steam, so like I could go play it now if I wanted. But to have a little updated version, I mean, I'm never gonna.
It's on sale. I'm very much considering getting and playing just that version. But I think by time I finish 8 and maybe go through 9 or maybe go through 10, then this will already be out. So I might do Celceta instead.
Yeah, I mean, Oath in Felghana is one of the ones that's considered like real high up there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you might as well just wait for this to come out, because that's one of the things that you guys commented about with 8 was that you didn't like how quiet Adol is.
Yeah.
And it's like in this one, in this remake, they're adding more Adol voiceover. So, I mean,
that's true.
Could be something you're interested in. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I might do Celceta next. Unless I just end up doing Nordics. It depends on what happens in between now and when Nordics comes out.
That's the great thing about Ys is like you don't have to go and play 9 after 8. It's like you can play 8 and then go play 2 and then go play 7 and then go play 4 and then 10 and then
it doesn't
9.
matter. They're all self-contained like stars. I like it in the books.
It's tremendous.
So anyway, we got a couple more stories here, so let's hop off the Ys train and head into the Reynatis train. More NIS America. They're killing it this week.
Yeah. And I put this one in there because of the title of it. RPGsite.net again. Reynatis, I think is how you say that. They only had a brief chance to take a look at the Reynatis at NIS America's booth during the Anime Expo, yet the game is already leaving a strong first impression, thanks to a fascinating combat system, which feels unlike anything else I've ever played. Now, this is from the perspective of the writer. I just want to make that clear. even if we've got a lot left to see when the game will launch later this year. Reynada's gameplay involves around the player character's two main states, suppressed and liberated. You can only attack while in liberated state, but this comes with a caveat. A character's MP will drain the longer they stay liberated, and special attacks drain the MP even faster. Pressing the left bumper, you can switch between liberated and suppressed state. While you're unable to attack with suppressed, you gain access to the ability to dodge enemy attacks and regain MP.
That's interesting as heck.
Yeah, that sounds very intriguing. When attacked while in suppressed state, you're prompted to hold down the dodge button to fill up a symbol and then release it to deal extra damage, regain MP, and switch to the liberated state immediately. While it's not entirely necessary to do so, players can manually force themselves into suppressed state before an enemy attacks to take advantage of this counter. It's not especially challenging to pull off this parry maneuver, though, and still feels satisfying without negatively impacting the battle's tempo.
Huh.
While I say that the combat is simple, it's worth considering that the demo takes place during a very early place in the game, and while in the full release, players will be able to switch between up to 3 different playable characters at will, we only ever had the chance to switch between 2, and only 1 for battle. And for only 1 battle, to make matters even more difficult to judge. That being said, even during the early stages of the game's combat, it felt engaging. And since the different characters have their own MP pools, I can imagine switching between them at will, depending on their available MP. Visually, the game is looking pretty good. We played it on the PlayStation 5, which was certainly smoother than the Nintendo Switch version running nearby, though it looked quite impressive for the handheld. We were told that the Switch version would run at 30 frames per second, while the PlayStation 5 release targets 60 frames with an increase in fidelity. As for everything else, we will have to wait and see. The LACC Entertainment Hall was far too loud to have any commentary for the soundtrack at this time, and the length and focus of the demo meant it would be difficult to have anything to say about the game's story too. We didn't get a chance to take a look at any of the game's The World Ends With You collaboration either. Yet, if your concern with the game was its combat, I can say that it's off to a promising start. So Reynada's launches for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and PC September 27th.
All right.
So that's intriguing sounding.
Yeah, it does. Like, just the battle system sounds intriguing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm interested how that's going to actually play out through the whole game.
All right, our next story here. Goblin Slayer, Another Adventurer, Nightmare Feast, releases for Nintendo Switch on the West on October 25th. Red Art Games has announced that Goblin Slayer will launch for Nintendo Switch in the West on October 25th, available both digitally and at retail. The tactical RPG previously released in Japan via Switch and Steam in February 2024. It's unclear if the existing Steam version will update to include English language at the same time as the Switch release. However, Red Art Games previously announced Elenteros Wanderlings, which is also published by Bushiroad in Japan, has been confirmed to receive an English language update on Steam, so it seems likely the same will be true for Goblin Slayer, Another Adventurer, Nightmare Feast. An announcement trailer, description, and screenshots can be found below via Red Art Games. And here is the promo. Here's the promo sheet here. Red Art Games is excited to announce that it's bringing the very first video game adaptation of a popular light novel, manga, and anime series, Goblin Slayer, to North American and European Nintendo Switch consoles in 2024. Goblin Slayer, Another Adventurer, Nightmare Feast is coming to the West on October 25th, both digitally and physically. Developed by Apollosoft, Goblin Slayer, Another Adventurer, Nightmare Feast is a tactical RPG written by original series creator Kumo Kagyu, with character designs by original series artist Noboru Kanetsuki. In addition to its digital release, it will also receive both ESRB and PEGI-rated physical Nintendo Switch versions. While the game's standard edition will be available from multiple retailers at launch, 2 special editions can already be pre-ordered from Red Art Games' official online store. The deluxe edition, wow, looks like they're only making 500 PEGI-rated copies in Europe. It contains a copy of the game, an exclusive sleeve with alternate cover art, a sticker sheet, and the original soundtrack CD. The collector's edition, which is only going to get 1,000 in Europe and 1,000 in the US, contains a copy of the game, steel case, double-sided acrylic stand, double-sided poster, and a sticker sheet. That's weird. The more expensive one does not come with the soundtrack CD.
Yeah, that's odd.
Very odd. But
yeah, if you're a fan of Goblin Slayer, this should be a good time, and hopefully the Steam version gets updated with English, because that would be some bull crap.
Yeah, right? If not, I'm more than sure that people are going to data mine the Switch version and just pull out the translation files and throw it in as a mod.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. You want to take us home, my friend?
Yes, sir. That brings us to our last game to talk about this week, and that is publisher East Asia Soft has announced that they are bringing Tokyo Clan Pool to the West in 2024 for Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam. This dungeon RPG was developed by Compile Heart and it initially released in Japan in October 2017 for the PlayStation Vita. Now, Compile Heart might sound familiar to you. They did Neptunia in those games.
I love Neptunia. I still haven't beat it, but I love it.
And they were very big there was like a lot of their stuff came out for Vita. So I'm happy to see that this is getting brought, and more of their games are being brought from the Vita over to newer systems.
Agreed.
Tokyo Clan Pool features first-person dungeon exploring as players experience the game through the eyes of Prime Minister Natsume Kanuki. A monster invasion threatens the safety of Japan, and players must utilize their team of diet dolls to fight them. As people venture deeper into the labyrinths, they'll come across environmental puzzles to change how they navigate through, while engaging in turn-based battles against foes. They must also take into account if their actions are in the interest of the population, because if the newly inaugurated Prime Minister's approval ratings are too low, Natsume's cabinet may just resign.
Wow.
Those interested in a physical copy of Tokyo Clan Pool for Switch can purchase it online through the retailer Play Asia. Standard copies will be available, while only 3,000 copies of its limited edition will be produced. And the limited edition looks like it comes with a collector's box, a game box, the game cartridge, a manual, a certificate, an art book, the OST. There's a cover for the OST CD, the poster, and the sticker sheet. So I'll do the quick little overview, and then we can head on out of here, sir.
You got it.
In a near future Tokyo, the government has collapsed following the appearance of a mighty tower extending from the mysterious reverse city into the sky and connecting with the National Diet Building. Monsters threaten the people of Japan, and it is up to the newly inaugurated Prime Minister Natsume Kanuki to lead her diet dolls into battle against them. Tokyo Clan Pool is a dungeon RPG where you will take your party of heroines deeper and deeper into the tower to counter the monsters that threaten and to learn the truth of its origin. Equipped digiskins to customize character skills and abilities while navigating maze-like corridors in first-person perspective. Turn-based combat is fast and strategic, and with your team's ether-based powers, you can even float or dig tunnels to alter the structure of dungeons. But you'll also have to keep an eye on your citizens' approval ratings. If your actions are favorable, you can earn valuable bonuses, but if it falls too low, your entire cabinet could resign. Is your administration up to the task? So yeah, keep your ears and eyes out for that. That sounds super cool.
It
Coming
looks
west later
like
this year.
A combination of Neptunia and the Persona Q games that were on the 3DS. Because those had a weird dungeon structure where, like, you went through the dungeon in first person, but then, like, when you got into battles...
That is because Persona Cube is crossed over Persona with Etrian Odyssey. And Etrian Odyssey is another game like that, where it is a first-person dungeon-crawling JRPG.
Huh.
And they're very good from what I hear. I've never played one, but I've heard that they are very good.
Yeah. It's not, for some reason, the first-person dungeon part is a turn-off to me. I don't know why.
See, it's nostalgic for me in a way, because we've talked about this before. My first JRPG is the original Phantasy Star. And when you went in the dungeons, it was first-person.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the Sega Master System. So, like, old school dungeon crawling. Like,
old
back then...
Old school first-person dungeon crawling. The pixels.
Nowadays, you play updated versions of that game. There's a mapper. Back then, there was no mapper. You had to, when you went into a dungeon, you had to draw it as you went, or you would get lost.
Yeah. Or you have to have, like, a strategy guide or something.
Yeah. Which, I don't know if those existed in the 80s. I wasn't around. I played this later in life. When I was, in the 90s.
I was around in the 80s.
Was there a strategy guide?
Not that I remember.
All right, then.
Strategy guides didn't come out until, like, the Nintendo era, because Nintendo Power started publishing them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Get this magazine, and it'll help you get through Part 3 of Dragon Quest.
Pretty much. Yeah, there were... I won't get into it too much, but there were, like, whole magazines that were basically just maps of like platforming games.
Oh, I remember certain PlayStation magazines would do incremental walkthroughs, like Star Ocean Till the End of Time. There was a 4-part, like 4 months in a row, that each PlayStation 2 PlayStation magazine was PlayStation 2 by then, but it was PlayStation magazine. Each one had part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 of the walkthrough.
and then I remember had to get the next issue to get the rest of it.
Yep. And then I remember one of the gaming magazines talking about and having a guide for Infinite Undiscovery.
Okay.
Which I never played, but I read that walkthrough and was like, man, this sounds like a pretty cool game. I don't remember what back then I didn't care what other people thought about the games. Now I'm sure the reviews for it were like, oh, that game was trash. I don't know. But yeah, that was one. But I just always remember that Star Ocean Till the End of Time was long before I ever played it. I read the walkthrough for it.
I did that with a couple of games. I remember renting Earthbound and spending most of my time reading the strategy guide instead of actually playing Earthbound. So I knew pretty much everything that was going to happen, but I never actually played the game.
Word up. Yeah, I wish I still had some of my strategy. Like, I had a Final Fantasy VIII strategy guide that I wish I still knew where it was at, man, because I was like, man, you know what, I'll go buy one of those, and it was like $80, and I'm like, oh.
If I still have mine, I'll send it your way. I think I had the Brady Games one.
I had whichever was like the official strategy guide.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Brady or the Prima. I don't remember which one's the official one.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah,
if you would like to check us out over on Twitter, it is at JRPG Report. I'm not even going to give the Facebook. Like, I am almost never on there. I apologize.
It's
please,
Facebook,
though,
we get it.
If you would be so kind, would you kindly donate to the Patreon? It would it really helps support me and my family at the moment, and helps keep the show going, and helps motivate me to set aside life and depression and get this out to each and every one of you wonderful, wonderful people. Patreon.com/JRPG Report. And if you donate, you get your name read on each and every episode, like these wonderful people: Jake W., Jordan K., Kularian, MasterLoot, Kana, and Dustin Eckert. Thank you very, very much. We will also go check out my other podcast, the Steam Machine Podcast, a bi-weekly PC gaming show where me, Nate, and Willie talk about some video games. Recently, Mikolov here joined us to talk about Ys 8. That is our most recent episode. So if you want some more JRPG goodness, go listen to that, because it's a couple hours of us just talking about that game. I released a new album, nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. If you want to go check that out, it's called Vivid Dream World, and it's just some music to dance to, or boogie, whatever time of day you might be doing your boogieing. If you catch my drift. What about you, sir? You want to plug your stuff?
If you head over to youtube.com/@teamretro, you'll find my YouTube channel, and you'll pretty much get links to everything else from there. The Steam Machine Discord, the Retro Handhelds Discord, retrohandhelds.gg if you want to see some of the handwritten articles that I've done for the site. And if you also tune into YouTube, you may catch the first couple episodes of my podcast called We Played a Game that I do with Nefarious every couple weeks. We're a little bit behind because we both went on vacation at the same time, but we're going to be next week sometime talking about Half-Life.
Yeah, that's a good game, man.
Yeah, I have to make sure I actually dedicate some time to it and not do the Tadpog thing where they just play for an hour.
Yeah, Half-Life needs more than an hour.
Okay.
There are a lot of games that you can just put in an hour and get what you need to out of it, but Half-Life is not one of those.
Okay. I have to just suck it up and get into it. I gotta stop playing Ys.
Yes, sir. But yeah, we'll be back, and we'll hopefully have some more goodness for you. I don't know how much more they can announce that's going to be as exciting as some of the stuff that's been coming out recently, but hey, they keep surprising me, so let's hope for more.
This is summertime, so I'm sure the announcements are going to start coming in, and then we're closing in on Tokyo Game Show, so...
Summertime, and the gaming's easy.
JRPG fans are going to be eating good.
Yes, sir. And until the next episode, do me a wild, uncouth, just absolutely batty, crazy thing, and get back out there and level up.